I will protect him, just like I said to you, support him, he will win. Stepped into that 7:14 and that's what we heard. And we don't vote. His servant does not vote, but we do pray. But there was a moment when the Spirit said unto his servant, holding that we the people, the Constitution of the United States. And we did a live back in the day. It's up here on the internet where you hear a servant talking about the Constitution and how the Lord said to me, as we told him about how we didn't vote. This was a while ago now. And but we do pray. We pray for those that are in authority, those that are in high places, because that's where his servant, those that are, when you hear his servant say we walk upon the high places of the earth, that's what we're talking about. That's the light of that. And in doing so, we were sharing with you how the Lord said to me, his servant, how are you going to pray for them if you don't even know their names? How are you going to pray for them if you don't know their names? And also, you know, we do that master teach us how to pray. That's part of that 7:14. That's another level of prayer. But here as well, how are you going to pray for them if you don't know their name? And how am I going to change things if you don't know their name? And then all of a sudden, within this last year or so, you can see how the names, how people have been dropping names, right? Even include the president himself. And so quickly we're going to do this because we see another one coming. It's not up to MD. It's not up to his servant. We said it's all spirit. And just when we want to call it like that's it, we know that by the time we get here again on Monday, we have to be there. We have to be right there in place of spirit. But here as well, earlier today, when we got up early, you know, alarm sounds around 7:12 to get us ready and prepped for 7:14. There was, after we came through all that, we were going to lay down because this is that Friday. It's Friday. And Friday is like free indeed. And we're up on that Facebook wall of the DA Green. Names are changing because of what God is doing. But nevertheless, here as well, there was this gentleman, we snapshot his actual photo. There was this gentleman, the first face that his servant saw when we opened up our app to go to, to be on the internet because it's Friday. The first person pops up is on TikTok. He's sitting in a chair and he has a piece of paper and he's sitting in a chair with a piece of paper out of a notebook, and he's reading the names. He's reading names, and he keeps saying "and others," but the names have already been there, and this is what's been going on. How the Lord has been allowing names to come through, right? And so I feel God right there. And so we listened to the point that we couldn't write down all the names, but we had a way of getting to all the names. So we got all the names, and he's just putting them out. And when he went to put the names out, his servant, we went to put it on. This is what we're going to show right there. We went to put it on a blank tape, right? And see, because the Lord is sending shock waves. These are messages. And the Lord is sending shock waves because he says, I'm going to protect him. Just like I said, support him, he will win. And we didn't have to cast one vote. We prayed, and we've been praying. We didn't just start praying. We've been praying. This goes back a long time ago. This goes back in the early this is way before his servant time. We're just now catching up in time, because many times people can call for you to come, they can pray for you to come, but when you get there, they're not ready. So there are only a few of us that have come before our time, that we had to get to the place where we had to mark time. You understand? And it looked like we were out of time, or looked like things wasn't coming into fruition like that. But like we learned, this is learned like, we had to learn about the perfect timing of God. When the perfect timing of God is there, nothing can stop it. So we went to put it there because he's pulling out these names. And then all of a sudden, when we went off the internet and still wanted to lay down, the Spirit is still out there. And got the names, and I'm sure others is getting the names because it's being put out there for a reason. How you going to pray for them if you don't even know their names? So we started a while back collecting names. You understand, as the Spirit would allow his servant to hear, would come through the place of Spirit. So we were done with it. Soon as we thought we were done, Spirit has more to say. Like, look at the paper. It was like he ripped it out of a notebook. And then all of a sudden, see, he's sending a shockwave because God has said, I'm going to protect them. He said before how he set ambush. He set ambushes. Because before, when we said we don't vote, but we pray and we praise. Some people just pray. But we're always to pray, and we're always to praise. His praises shall continually be in my mouth. You understand? So we put the prayer, we call them the 2 P's together, power. We put the prayer and the praise together. And the Lord set ambushes against the enemy all the way in Georgia, all the way in he buttered up Pennsylvania, and he got in the keys. That's where you hear the 14 keys. That's what we're talking about. Even though the one person, Littman, talk about the 13 keys, we sent a shockwave that said, no, that's wrong. You understand? That's what this is all about here. When you see this, what is that for? It represents wrong can't rule. You understand? And it come a long ways from 2 rulers and all of those faithful over a few, and all that to be in this X. But we're going to talk about it, because God caught up with that 2-headed corn. and all. So we're going to talk about that. But how are you going to pray for them if you don't know the names? So we started getting those names for a while, from a while back. All right? But hear me, when the Lord gave us to see, he snatched a page, like he snatched a page out of a notebook. Then all of a sudden the Lord took us to the high place and took us to a place in the Spirit where we could see. And as we began to look upon the earth, we saw it was like a flash, like a moment, where the Lord let me see the piece of paper that Nancy Pelosi tore up that day. And the Lord said from that moment forth, she's been after Donald Trump. Look at God. Oh! Look at God. Look at God pointed at you. You've been after this man. You've been after this man. God showed it to me today. He showed it to me so plainly. Saw it in the place of Spirit. That she's been after this man. She has not stopped. She has not stopped. Nancy Pelosi. That's her name. The Lord showed me with the paper that the man is sitting there like he ripped it out of a notebook, reading all those names and saying, and others. And then all of a sudden, flashing as we're walking in the place of Spirit. And the Lord gives us to see that day she tore up that paper, and she hasn't been right since, because it caused her like that, what we call it, the humiliation. And there are other females, listen here, that the Lord said unto his servant that they are angry because they have been humiliated by either their husband or a man, and they've been out to get that man. But God saying, I'm strengthening you. I'm giving you power over. And God is sending ambushes against the very wicked. This is wicked. This is wicked. This is absolutely wicked. We're coming back for number 8.